Hello, this is Ling Hung from Hanoi and welcome to Daily Bees, brought to you by Vitsvi International. Here come the headlines. Civil Aviation Authority of Vietnam representative spoke out against the recent airport quality ranks. We'll take a look at the unnecessary paperwork that are hindering the firm's progress. And Vietnam, the second fastest growing smartphone market in terms of volume turnover in Southeast Asia. As usual, we start with the updates on the stock market. After the trading session of Thursday, both bourses of the Vietnamese Stock Exchange failed to maintain their winning streak from Wednesday. On the Ho Chi Minh City Stock Exchange, VN Index retreated 8.06 points to finish at 593.53 points. Top stocks of this bourse were also on decline as the VN30 Index lost 7.01 points to stop at 630.84 points. Liquidity rose, however, as more than 151 million shares were traded on this bourse at the total value of over $128.2 million. On the Hanoi Stock Exchange, the HNX index edged down 1.2 points to close at 87.31 points. More than $40.6 million was spent at the northern bourse to trade over 63.9 million shares. And listed companies also saw their stock prices go down as the Upcom index lost 1.2 points to close at 124.4 points. And next, we'll take a look at the list of the 5 biggest gainers and losers of the day. Over 4,000 housing and urban development projects have been planned and licensed throughout the nation with a combined capital of $211.6 million. This is according to a Ministry of Construction report presented to the National Assembly. However, the report showed that only 81% of the projects are actually moving forward, meaning 19% are still lying in status. The report also showed that 455 projects need to be adjusted to meet market demand, of which 285 are in Hanoi. According to Minister of Construction Trịnh Đình Dũng, measures to solve property market difficulties and the implementation of the National Strategy on Housing Development have shown encouraging results. With the $1.4 billion property incentive package has received great public support, the ministry has also allowed developers to convert commercial housing into social housing projects to prevent an imbalance between supply and demand and facilitate project progress. As of October, the total mobilized capital of credit institutions in Hanoi was estimated at $54.6 billion, an increase of 1.9% compared to last month and 10.8% compared to the end of last year. According to the Hanoi Statistics Department, the funds pumped into the market by credit institutions in August and September showed a positive change. This activity follows an annual trend of strong credit growth at the end of the third and fourth quarters. After a sharp increase September, the Consumer Price Index, or CPI, in Ho Chi Minh City this October declined by 0.03% compared to last month. According to the city's statistics office, the reason for this was a decrease in prices of 5 out of the 11 main types of goods used to calculate CPI, including food services, accommodation, and building materials. The fall in CPI comes as a surprise for many people in Ho Chi Minh City, since October usually sees a CPI hike. Vietnam's two biggest airports, Nội Bài and Tân Sơn Nhất, were recently named in the 10 worst airports in Asia by the Sleeping in Airports website. In response, a representative from the Civil Aviation Authority of Vietnam, or CAAV, spoke out against the ranking. More to follow.
According to Lại Xuân Thanh, head of the Civil Aviation Authority of Vietnam, or CAAV, the results only reflected the opinions of passengers and were not based on any standardized criteria or measures. Thanh also said that the website Sleeping in Airports was not a professional aviation service ranking agency, so the information published on the website could not be regarded as an objective overview of the service quality at Nội Bài and Tân Sơn Nhất. The CAAV plans to meet with the management board of the website to verify its airport quality rankings. Nevertheless, in the future, the CAAV will take measures to improve the quality of all airports in Vietnam.
The Ministry of Finance has proposed a preferential excise tax for biodiesel to help businesses reduce fuel costs. The tax rate for biodiesel will be lower than conventional gasoline and will receive further subsidies on its ethanol content and biological products. The current excise tax rates for E5 and E10 biofuels are between 5 and 10% of RON 92 gasoline. Now time for a check on the updates on foreign exchange rates. During the recent working session with the National Assembly to review the draft of the amended law on special consumption tax, the government excluded online games from the list of goods and services that are subject to tax. At a meeting held a month ago, several members of the National Assembly Standing Committee said a tax should be imposed on online games to deter the violence seen in many of them that can have a negative impact on impressionable youngsters. However, the drafting committee argued that a tax on online games might harm domestic game producers who are locked in fierce competition with foreign counterparts. According to the National Agroforestry Fisheries Quality Assurance Department, 60 seafood enterprises who want to export to Russia have been inspected and verified for food safety standards by the Vietnam Customs Union. The authority has submitted its proposals to the Russian Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service and is waiting for approval from Russian importers. In addition to these 60 companies, the National Department is inspecting 40 other businesses to see if they meet Russian standards. Licensed enterprises in Vietnam are still having to apply for additional licenses when they want to expand their production or add an additional line of business. Besides the essential procedures, these are also unnecessary paperwork that are hindering the firm's progress, as shown in our next story.
After 15 years of operating in the field of healthcare, Nancy Medical Company decided to open a new facility. However, the complicated registering procedures are discouraging this firm. According to current regulations of the Ministry of Planning and Investment, the manager and employees of the new facility must be licensed doctors, and all of its conditioned tools and equipment must be exempt by the Ministry of Health.
We just simply cannot have the required staff of doctors for new facility. Even if we hire other doctors to register, it will take a lot of time to complete the procedures and begin operation. And we have to pay those doctors for all that time with licensed doctors' salaries.
The firms operating in less complicated fields are also facing similar obstacles. With 5 years in the market of children's clothing, this company applied for the license to print on its own product 2 years ago, but the license hasn't been granted.
We used to believe that our license with the Department of Planning and Investment includes all the steps to manufacture our products. But it turns out that if we want to print, we must have a separate printing facility, and the registration for that facility is quite complicated. We now have to hire other firms to print for us, and that pushes up the prices of our products.
Currently in Vietnam, there are 121 kinds of business license, 34 kinds of practicing certificate, 84 kinds of eligible business certification, 400 kinds of additional license, as well as 368 conditioned lines of business. These complicated licenses are creating unimaginable obstacles on enterprises in the market.
It costs the firms a lot of time and money to acquire those licenses, and most of them do not have practical uses. They don't protect the firms at all. They just make things more complicated. The National Assembly is making amendments to both the law of enterprises and the law of investment so that firms can operate more freely. The new and streamlined laws are aimed to remove as much obstacles for firms as possible.
As new laws are on the way, both domestic firms and foreign enterprises operating in the market of Vietnam are hoping that the number of additional licenses will be reduced.
Vietnam was the second fastest growing smartphone market in terms of volume turnover in Southeast Asia in the past 12 months, according to GfK, a German market research firm. During the September 2013 to August 2014 period, Vietnam reported a 56% increase in smartphone demand compared to the previous period, according to findings from GfK's latest survey. Vietnam stood behind Indonesia, who posted a 70% spike, and was followed by Thailand, where demand for smartphones expanded 44%. The introduction of more low-end models by new Chinese manufacturers has been a key driver that fueled strong market performance, especially in developing countries where they make smartphones more affordable. The construction of an bonded warehouse and an oil pipeline from the central province of Quang Binh, Hon La Island, to Khmer Nai province in Laos will begin in the fourth quarter of next year. The project will be fully funded by the Laos government and businesses. The bonded warehouse will cover 37.45 hectares in the Hon La Industrial Park in Quang Binh province, with estimated investment capital of between $300 million and $500 million. The project will also include a wharf for vessels with capacity of 50,000 tons and a 290-kilometer long oil pipeline with 4 pumping stations. The project is expected to take 35 months to complete and will go into operation by early 2018. And the piece of news wraps up our Daily Beast today. Thank you very much for being with us. You can go to vtv4.vn or youtube.com/vtv4go for other updates, and goodbye for now.